Part 68. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 672. The six-eared macaque clan, the bull demon king, the Tengu clan, etc. stayed in the Muling dynasty. Nanfan and others set off with many prey. Soon, the group of people returned to the small mountain village. It was already evening, but at the entrance of the village, I saw the second uncle enjoying the cool air. Uncle John was sitting opposite him, playing chess. Uncle John was smoking a dry cigarette and looking at the second uncle. His face was full of pride and he said, "Second old man, please stop struggling. I have already succeeded. The whole village has Xiao Li, and no one can solve it." After a fierce battle, the second uncle was cornered by him, and he could defeat him in a few more steps. The second uncle frowned and stared at the chessboard, thinking and thinking at the moment. Second uncle, a quick horse general, replace the cannon with a chariot, and use the pawns to break it. At this time, a silver bell-like sound suddenly sounded. The second uncle was thinking hard. When he heard it, he subconsciously followed the sound and played chess. Uncle John was also panicked and hurriedly responded, but he couldn't stop the second uncle's moves at all. "Haha, I'm going to win, Xiao Zhang, you're still hotter than ever." The second uncle was so proud that he stood up at the same time, looked at Yun 11 next to him, gave a thumbs up, and said, "Girl 11, you are so amazing." Uncle John was indignant and said, "It's not fair, it's not fair. Girl 11 must have learned chess from Xiao Li who can beat him. One more game, one more game. Uncle John, stop getting off, we are ready to have a banquet. Go and call someone quickly." Yun 11 opened his mouth and pointed outside the village. The second uncle and Uncle John looked outside the village and were shocked. I saw Wu Dade, Lu Rang and others pulling animals towards the village. "Hey, where did we get so many prey? It's amazing." Uncle John was surprised. "Tisk, tisk, big pheasant, big loach, big roe deer, they are all good things, good things." The second uncle was happy and said, "Quick, Xiao Zhang, let's call people over and we can have dinner again." Immediately, the two hurriedly went to the village to call for help. After a while, all the men, women, and children in the village were dispatched. At this moment, in the small courtyard, Li Fan had nothing to do, holding Xiaobai in his arms and sitting on a wicker chair. "You can only eat a piece of watermelon if you learn a poem or remember a story." Li Fan looked at Tianlinger who was reciting poetry and encouraged him. He was quite satisfied with Tianlinger because he found that although Tianlinger was still a child, he was very diligent in his homework. During this time, I have learned 300 Tang poems. Although she didn't understand many poems, she could memorize them. It's just that he loves to eat melons so much that he thinks about watermelons every day. Li Fan was puzzled as to why this child was in such good health that he didn't have a bad stomach. Tianlinger heard this and recited the poem even harder. Li Fan had nothing to do, so he was in the yard, taking care of the flowers and plants, and playing with the small animals. If you have nothing to do, feed the birds, prepare some fodder for the calf, and make a fruit salad for the little unicorn. The disciples are not here these days, but these little wolves, little golden cows, little birds, little turtles, and other animals accompany him to relieve his fatigue. Quite interesting. Soon, Tianlinger learned another poem. After reciting it, she said, "Brother, can I eat melon?" Li Fan nodded and said, "Eat it." Tianlinger happily picked up a small piece of melon and ate it obediently. "Master, we are back." At this time, the voices of Wu Dade and others suddenly came from outside. Li Fan suddenly became happy, stood up and said, "Come in." Outside, a group of disciples pushed open the door and entered. "Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 673. Warm reminder, the previous chapter was posted in error and has been revised. Readers who read it early, please refresh and read, otherwise it will be incoherent. Small village. On both sides of the bonfire, everyone sat together and listened to the second uncle telling stories about the past. Young children, you don't know that the village has been peaceful in the past few years. In the past, the village was often haunted. When the gray fog comes, the gray ghosts crawl out of the fog. It's called an infiltrator. He burns yellow paper, prepares peachwood nails, etc., all to deal with the gray ghosts. Hearing this, Wu Date and others were a little stunned. In the past, the second uncle had mentioned something about the foggy weather, but they didn't pay attention to it. Now when they hear these 4 words again, they are all a little bit hairy. Could it be that the gray fog that the second uncle mentioned was the strange gray fog? And the gray ghost, could it be a gray mist creature? Second uncle, do those gray ghosts look like stones? Zhang Li couldn't help but ask. The second uncle shook his head and said, "No, the gray ghost is not a stone." Not a stone? In other words, they are not gray fog creatures. Everyone was a little confused. Only the big black dog, who was licking the wine in the dog bowl, couldn't help but look up at this moment. A trace of fear flashed in the dog's eyes. The village, has it ever been discovered? It whispers. The second uncle paused and then said, "Gray ghosts are not stones, they are transformed from people. If people stay in the gray fog for a long time, they will turn into gray ghosts that seek their lives. Gray ghosts, some want money, some want lives. If they want money, just burn some yellow paper, but if they want lives, then they can only use peachwood nails to fight with them. It's only in these years that the village has become peaceful. It's all thanks to Xiao Li." After everyone heard this, they looked at Li Fan and speculated one after another. In any case, that gray ghost is definitely not a simple thing. With Master here, they will never dare to come. Yes, I don't know what kind of magic power Master used to suppress everything. But at this moment, Li Fan smiled slightly and said, "Don't be scared by the second uncle. There are no gray ghosts in this world. The so-called gray fog weather is just haze." Li Fan also remembered that in the first few years when he came to the village, there were indeed several days of haze in the village, and the sky was gray. Later, rectifying the haze weather became one of Li Fan's tasks. He led the villagers to plant trees at the head of the village, forests at the end of the village, build walls on the left side of the village, dig ditches on the right side of the village. After a long time, he gradually got the environmental protection work in place and the ecological construction improved steadily. No, now there are more trees in the village, the water is clearer, the air is naturally better, and there are less extreme weather. As for gray ghosts and the like, Li Fan thinks it's just that during hazy weather, the villagers can't see what's going on outside. Occasionally, if an animal or something moves around, it's regarded as a ghost. What a superstition. He talked about these things and then said with a smile, "Smog control is not difficult, so you don't have to worry." But upon hearing this, a group of disciples all fell into deep thought. Smoggy weather? According to the master's temperament, in his eyes, catastrophic disasters that destroy the world are often no more than changes in the weather. In his eyes, earth-shattering changes are no more than falling leaves and autumn wind. It turns out that Master has taken action and changed the layout of the village. No wonder it's so scary. The trees planted by Master, the ditches dug, etc. definitely constitute an unimaginable chess formation. I'm afraid I will never be able to see it in my lifetime. Zhang Li couldn't help but sigh. When he first saw the small mountain village, he felt that the small mountain village had the true meaning of chess. Later, the king of black and white once admired the exquisite layout of the small mountain village, which was called a perfect chess game. Now that his realm has skyrocketed, he re-examined and found that his previous understanding was still superficial. I only scratched the surface of a small mountain village. Master said that the grey fog weather is not difficult to control. It means that the grey fog disaster is completely insignificant in Master's opinion. Duguyuking also murmured. Come on, have a drink, old man Huang Li, tell me what it does. Uncle Zhang raised the big wine bowl, drank in a gulp, and said. Xiao Li's wine is authentic. Everyone also continued to drink. Although the craft beer was not that powerful, soon after, in addition to the villagers, Nanfeng, Ziling, Longzixuan, and others, as well as Yun Qianshan, Yun Yinshan, etc., were all still drunk. The brew this time was rich and deep. Although it did not directly improve their realm, it consolidated their cultivation and Tao foundation. Wu Date and others were lying on the ground again. Even Tianlinger fell asleep, which was so sweet. Many other small animals, including the little unicorn nestled in Lin Zhujian's arms, the Sirius lying gently next to Nanfan, all fell asleep drunk. Li Fan saw this and smiled bitterly. I have to drag people around again. He immediately stood up and carried the female disciples back to the room one by one. He put Nanfan on the bed and covered Nanfan with a quilt. Master, will not be lost. How could he become an evil spirit? No way. It seemed like he had a nightmare. Tears actually fell from the corners of his eyes, and he murmured to himself. Master turned into a ghost. Hearing this, Li Fan couldn't help but smile. It was all the fault of the second uncle, saying that those mysterious things gave this girl nightmares. It's okay. Even if I become a ghost, I will still remember you. Don't be afraid of me. He gently stroked Nanfan's delicate forehead. As if feeling something, Nanfan's brows relaxed in his sleep, and there seemed to be a smile on the corner of his mouth. Soon, Xiling, Subakian, Gongya, Zinning, Tianlinger, etc. were all carried back by him one by one. Then he went back to drag Longzixuan to wait. The big black dog was already biting Wu Date and others with great effort and pulling them into the yard. Damn dog, don't stay. Let's go. Go quickly, find someone, find someone. Wu Date seemed to be dreaming, mumbling to himself. Yun 11, however, was drunk. She was dancing lightly, and seemed to be a little anxious, murmuring. Xiao He, drag him away, I will stop the enemy. The big black dog was dragging Wu Date, and suddenly it raised its head and looked at Yungzi. The dog's eyes were full of shock. I met her once when I went to find the master. Back then, it had 3 parts, the weakest part was used to guard the door, and the other 2 parts were made up of 2 clones, and the troops were divided into 2 groups to find that one. As long as there is one Taoist fruit left and one distraction alive, its true form can continue to survive. However, later it fell into a deep sleep inexplicably, and when it woke up, it was already in this life. It doesn't know many things. Now it seems that one of its clones has encountered that stunningly talented and beautiful woman. It is meditating. And Li Fan had already walked over and said with a smile. Can't you drag it? I'll drag it. Seeing Li Fan return, Yungzi seemed to wake up from his trance and said. Big Demon King, let's go, I'll drag you with you. They immediately dragged Wu Date and others in one by one. Yun 11 was so tired that she fell asleep and leaned on Li Fan's shoulder. The Grey Ghost, fight the Grey Ghost. She murmured quietly. Li Fan sat under the peach tree, smiled, and gently hugged her shoulders. Don't be afraid of ghosts, I'm here. Yun 11 hugged his arm, smiled sweetly, and fell asleep soundly. Li Fan sat still for a long time before sending her back to the room. Then, he did not rest. Tonight, with the moon hanging high and the evening breeze blowing, he found the iron sword on a whim. He wanted to dance the sword on the moonlit night, but he saw that the iron sword was stained with rust. The war sword is rusty, that's all. One day, the rust will be worn away and the edge will be restored to you. Li Fan smiled, picked up his sword and returned. In the small courtyard, there was silence for a long time. In this pure land, people from the ancestral world have arrived. Nanfan and the others should have encountered a small shrimp. The old hen suddenly spoke and said. Moreover, it's stained with grey fog. The pure land is no longer clean. The branches of the peach tree hung lightly, and a clear female voice said. What is supposed to come will come sooner or later. The ancestral world is still alive. Thinking about it, she might have killed a lot of people in the past, but in the end, she only gained peace for a lifetime, and the source of the disaster has not been eliminated. The old hen nodded and continued. Just now the master raised the sword. I felt a terrifying killing intent. He wants to destroy everything with his sword. There was clearly a deep awe in its tone. The time has not yet come. Dosha slowly opened his mouth and said. If the master strikes out with his sword, the enemy will hide in fear, and there will be peace for 1,000,000 years in the ancestral realm, but it is meaningless. The master just said that the sword will be sharpened again. He may be waiting. The old hen also nodded and said. Master, this overall situation has implications for eternity, and the calculations of all realms, together with the waves, it will be a shocking battle. In the pond, a carp jumped out of the water, and a majestic male voice sounded, roaring. War. My dragon clan, can't wait any longer. For a moment, the dragon's shadow shook the sky in the small courtyard, as if an eternal dragon had awakened. But the old hen said coldly, You idiot, go back and wake up the master. The master will eat fish tomorrow. Hearing this, the carp was startled for a moment, but then silently dived back into the water without daring to say a word. Working overtime every day, yesterday until 4 o'clock in the morning, and today it is probably midnight again, I am about to die suddenly. It will probably return to normal the day after tomorrow, but the updates have not been on time these past few days, and they have not been broadcast. I'm sorry. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 674. 1 month later. Xuanhuan, in the ancestral hall of the Lin family. Waves of terrifying qi were released, with a faint aura of grey mist in the sanctity. An old yati with half of his body almost rotten, his toothless mouth opened wide, and he let out a loud ho-ho laugh. I have glimpsed the Emperor's way. Eternity, our Lin family will move towards eternity. He laughed. Astonishingly, it was Lin Baniang, the living fossil of the Lin family and the only venerable one. A month ago, he was still a venerable. 3 months later, he had become the pinnacle sub-emperor and had a glimpse of the emperor's qi machine. At the same time, there were several venerable figures in the main hall. I didn't expect that the origin of the grey mist would be so strong. Lin Lanchan spoke in a low voice. He looked at his almost stony skin with such fanaticism in his eyes that he said. The ancestor is invincible forever. One portrait suppressed the entire Yang world, and in exchange for our family's take-off. A month ago, he was just a god king. The origin of the grey mist is actually the true eternal way. The ancient legends are all wrong. They actually regard this treasure as the source of disaster. Lin Lanchan was also overjoyed and said. Under Yati, I am invincible. He then looked at Lin Baniang and said. Ancestor, in my opinion, now that the imperial court has disappeared, it's time for our Lin family to unify the divine realm. His eyes are full of enthusiasm. The imperial court disappeared, leaving a vacuum in the power of the divine realm. Their Lin family's strength has greatly improved. Without ideas, it's impossible. Lin Banyang shook his head and said, there is still one more chance. Although the imperial court is destroyed, the hearts of the people in the divine realm still have hope for the imperial court. There must be a chance to break the imperial court's status in the hearts of the world. Hearing this, Lin Lanchen and Lin Lanchen also nodded, but they all looked sad. It's easy to fight with real swords and guns, but it's hard to shake the people's belief in the imperial court. At this moment, a shout came from outside. Report. A divine king walked quickly and said, the news just came that the West Heaven Brahma court was destroyed. Hearing this, Lin Banyang and the other three were all shocked. What? What's going on? Where did the rumors come from? Lin Lanchen and Lin Lanchen spoke directly, with disbelief written on their faces. The Vatican was destroyed. This kind of thing is simply ridiculous. You must know that the Brahma court is one of the most powerful forces in the world today, and even the imperial court cannot stabilize it. And this divine king already said in a trembling voice. It's absolutely true, the entire Brahma realm is gone, and the divine domain adjacent to the Brahma realm is already at war. Hearing this, several people looked at each other. Is it true? This is unbelievable. The Vatican, in the impression of the world, represents the ultimate power. What's impossible? The imperial court is gone, the source of the grey mist is here, why can't the Brahma court be destroyed? At this time, Lin Banyang suddenly said coldly, this is the opportunity we want. Once the Brahma court is destroyed, the divine realm will be shocked. Tell the world that a catastrophe is coming. Both the imperial court and the Brahma court will be destroyed. The old imperial court will be destroyed, and the new imperial court will be prospered. Hearing this, Lin Lanchen and Lin Lanchen understood instantly. This is indeed an opportunity. In addition, go find the Tianji divine calculator Dao Wuwei. He has a long-standing reputation in the divine realm. If he personally says that the old imperial court has been destroyed and a new imperial court will be established, and that my Lin family's destiny belongs to me, then my Lin family, that's the right thing to do, to dominate the world. Lin Banyang then spoke. Hearing this, Lin Lanchen said, Ancestor, I don't know where Dao Wuji has gone. Now I can't contact him at all. I can only find someone else in the Tianji Xuanhuan lineage. I remember that Dao Wuji also had a senior brother named Dao Wuwei. Lin Banyang said, then go find it. After you find it, push the existing great god kings in heaven to witness together. Lin Lanchen and Lin Lanchen both nodded and left. The divine realm is already undercurrent. And today, an explosive news spread into the divine realm. The Vatican was destroyed. 3,000 Brahma lands have all perished, the spiritual mountain has collapsed, and there is no other shore left, the Brahma path has been completely destroyed. As soon as the news came out, the divine realm was in an uproar. Where did the fake news come from? Such sensationalism should be punished. Haha, the imperial court disappeared, all kinds of monsters came out, you can make up such things. The Brahma court in the west is on par with the imperial court. Who can destroy it? Nonsense. However, this news was initially regarded as a rumor and no one believed it. It was not until a few days later that wars broke out frequently in the divine realm bordering the Brahma palace, and news poured in. Lingshan was destroyed. The Brahma earth was completely destroyed. On the day of destruction, there was a monk holding a broom who walked out of the great destruction. At this point, the entire divine realm was no longer calm. It's true, the Lingshan mountain collapsed, the Brahma palace was completely destroyed, and all the Brahma practitioners in the world became insane, the Brahma way has completely fallen. The catastrophe, no one knows what kind of catastrophe it was that destroyed the Brahma palace. A god king who went to visit the Brahma palace in person returned and brought certain news. This news caused all the major forces in God's domain to fall into deathly silence. How is it possible that the Brahma palace was actually destroyed? Could it be that the era of disaster is happening again? The imperial court disappeared first, and the Brahma court was also destroyed. Is a catastrophe about to sweep through the world of the underworld? For a time, people were panicked and the world was terrified. With the help of interested people, various rumors about the imperial court began to spread, and people in the divine realm were panicked. Many people connected the disappearance of the imperial court with the destruction of the Brahma court. Soon, the 10 great god kings of heaven have found a descendant of the Tianji divine calculation line, and they want to deduce the emperor's palace. Today, a piece of news spread throughout the divine realm. Suddenly, the world's attention was focused. Perhaps, only the Tianji Xuanhuan lineage can give an answer. Yes, God knows everything. Everyone is waiting for this event. On the 32nd level of heaven, the great god kings from all sides gathered together. A blind man walked up slowly, holding a thorn stick in his hand, a compass hanging on his waist, and a yin-yang mirror on his back. Everyone, this is the descendant of the lineage of Tianji and Xuanhuan, and he is of the right nature. A god king stood up. His name was Lin Tianke, and he was one of the 10 most famous god kings in heaven. He is also the chess piece of the Lin family in heaven. The Lin family, searched all over the sky and the earth before we came out from a secret mountain that he left. Perhaps he is the only one in the world who can give us an answer. Hearing this, several other great god kings also nodded. Dao Wushu walked to the middle of the crowd and said slowly, "Today, I, Dao Wubai, will deduce the imperial court for the world and investigate the catastrophe." After saying that, he suddenly dropped a few pieces of tortoise shell. At the same time, he held a yin-yang mirror, danced the numstick, and muttered words. For a moment, there seemed to be a secret power flowing in the heaven. All the great god kings watched nervously. A long time later, Dao Wu Los suddenly stopped. "Master, how is the situation?" Lin Tianqi asked. "Word by word," he said. "The imperial court has fallen into a strange cause and effect and will never come back. The old imperial court has been destroyed, and the new imperial court must be established. There will be a new emperor in the world, and his destiny lies with the Lin family." He pointed the numstick in his hand towards Lin Tianke. Lin Tianke's eyes flashed with excitement. He turned to look at the other 9 great god kings in the imperial court, and said, "Everyone, Mr. Dao Wubai is a divine calculator, he will never make mistakes. Now it seems that the old imperial court has been destroyed. Only by establishing a new imperial court can we rule the underworld. My Lin family is willing to be the leader." He spoke directly. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a great god king was sitting on a chair, and he was already striking towards him with the palm of his hand. "Wang Xiantian, are you crazy?" Lin Tianke roared angrily and struck with a palm strike. Suddenly, the sky began to tremble. "Lin Tianke, by doing this, don't you just want to seize power on your own while the imperial court is destroyed? Even if we want to establish a new imperial court, why should your Lin family be the leader? How can my Wang family be weaker than you?" The great god king Wang Xiantian roared. On the 32nd level of God's domain, a war broke out. On that day, the news came out and the whole world was shocked. The old imperial court has been destroyed, and the new imperial court is about to be established. According to the divine calculation, the destiny belongs to the Lin family, and the 10 major divine king families are fighting. Several great god kings have fallen. The entire divine realm was in a sensation. At the same time, soldiers from all continents in the God's domain began their conquests. God's domain is in complete chaos. Good night, Keep working overtime. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 675. Chaos in God's Domain. In the 32nd heaven, 10 great god kings fought a battle, which shocked the divine realm. Many great god kings have fallen. However, some families, such as the Wang family and the Lin family, have shown power that surpasses the god king, and even surpasses the venerable level. The palaces in heaven were destroyed countless times. At the same time, in the god's domain, in Xuanhuan continent, the Lin family, which had been preparing for a long time, launched a war. The masters of the Lin family swept across all directions, and for a time, anyone who did not surrender was attacked. Many ancient families rose up to resist. However, it was all in vain. Under the sweep of the Lin family, they quickly captured the territory of the 10 continents of God's domain. The entire divine realm is only 300 continents. The pace is still accelerating. However, the Lin family is not the only overlord. Xuanhuan continent, where the Wang family's cavalry came from, was invincible in every continent. In the Holy Land continent, a respected man from the Luo family took the source of the grey mist and massacred millions of creatures. In Delirium Taizhu, no one dares to disobey an order from the Delirium Holy Land. In the Sacred Beast Mountain, a giant beast ran rampant and roared, shattering more than a dozen god kings. In just a few days, the originally unified and harmonious divine realm was divided in all directions because of the disappearance of the imperial court and the rise of careerists. There are 8 major forces, all claiming to establish a new imperial court and unify the divine domain. The war continues and the war breaks out. There was fierce fighting among the major separatist forces. The divine realm is filled with blood. And at this moment, God's domain, Huiling's. Somewhere in this secret realm, there is an endless magical place. There is the White Tiger Emperor Peak standing here, the Jishui River flowing in front of the Emperor Peak, and the endless auspicious Kirin Valley. At this moment, a young girl was sitting cross-legged on the top of White Tiger Emperor Peak, practicing. She was surrounded by endless sacred flames and looked extremely mysterious. Not long after, another girl with bright eyes appeared. The girl who was sitting cross-legged immediately stood up, looked back, smiled slightly, and said, "Qianning, what's wrong?" The girl said, "Sister Ling, everything is in chaos outside. The imperial court has disappeared, the Brahma court has been destroyed, and the major families are fighting. Maybe Huoling continent will soon be affected by the war." These two people were surprisingly Huoling and Mu Qianning. The war is raging, the divine realm is no longer peaceful. Huoling opened his mouth and said, "Has there been any trouble on the other side of the sacred beast mountain in God's domain?" The holy beast mountain is a major force in the God's domain. It is said that since ancient times, the relics of various divine beasts, such as the legendary fire phoenix with phoenix blood, the Tianlu tribe with Bai's blood, etc., are all in the sacred beast mountain. The sacred beast mountain is completely different from the demon world, and its heritage is extremely noble. Many beast kings are famous in the heaven. And they have been paying special attention to this place. There, nothing has happened yet. Some time ago, the Luo family, a powerful family, was separatist and sent troops to attack. As a result, more than a dozen god kings were all dead. Mu Qianning spoke. Hearing this, Huoling couldn't help but nodded and said, "The sacred beast mountain has not been hunted or eaten up, it means that Senior Li and the others have not arrived yet. We'll have to wait." Not long ago, they sensed that a divine baby was born in Huiling's. At that moment, they felt a familiar aura. Small mountain village, Senior Li. They went to search, and in a certain city in Huiling's, they found a baby. The baby was born smart. On the day he was born, there were 2 words written in blood on his palm. Bingruo. At that time, they guessed that Bingruo's birth was definitely related to Senior Li. They wanted to set off to find it, but the world was too big. There are 300 continents in the divine realm, 9,000 realms in the lower realm, as well as the Brahma court in the west, the demon realm, ghosts, etc. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Finally, they decided to wait in the gods' domain. Based on experience, they feel that when the sacred beast mountain is hunted, a small mountain village should appear. Not yet, not yet. Mu Qianning also nodded and said, "Sister, let's go see Xiao Binruo. When she gets older, she might be able to remember things about Senior Li, and we can ask her." Huo Linger also nodded and put away the White Tiger Emperor Peak picture, Kailan Chigo Valley picture, Jishui picture, etc. The two of them immediately stood up, turned into streams of light, and headed towards a small town somewhere in Huiling continent. The war rages on. After the Lin family, Wang family, and other major forces completed their separation, they began to conquer each other. The intensity of the war suddenly increased to a new level. Million-level wars are happening constantly. In the divine realm, there are mountains of corpses and seas of blood, and all living beings are in ruins. Master, we and the Lin family have fought dozens of battles, large and small, in just a few days. At this moment, in Xuanhuan continent, in the main hall of the Wang family, a god king spoke and said, "The army has suffered tens of millions of losses. It may be difficult to recruit soldiers in a short period of time." The generals of the Wang family's major legions were all discussing matters at the moment and spoke one after another. "Yes, without soldiers, the war cannot proceed. I suggest a truce for a year. The Lin family's losses are the same as ours. They will also face the situation of having no available troops. Now that our Lin family owns 50 continents, it's time to stop and consolidate our internal affairs." However, after listening to the suggestions of many generals, the middle-aged man sitting at the head had a very cold face. He was dressed in robes, but his majestic face had a grayish feeling, as if there was stone skin on his face. He is Wang Xianzhan, the head of the Wang family. Before, he was still a god king, but now, he has become a venerable one. It's impossible to stop. Wang Xianzhan spoke coldly and said, "The war must go on." Now, the Wang family has determined that in addition to their Wang family, the Lin family, the Luo family, the Delirium Holy Land, etc. should all have obtained the source of the grey mist. The key to competing with other major grey fog forces lies in the strength of top cultivators. The ancestor of the Wang family, Wang Jiyun, and others are in retreat. So do other families. The highest level of war is yet to come. At this stage, it all depends on the army of middle and low-level cultivators, fighting for the territory with one sword and one shot. What we are fighting for now is the hearts of the people in the world. If we stop, our morale will be dampened and our prestige will be damaged, which is something the Wang family will never accept. Hearing this, many generals looked at each other. How can a general fight without soldiers? Don't limit your sights to the divine realm. Wang Xianzhan spoke calmly and said, "Don't forget the 9,000 lower realms of God's domain. Take people to the major star regions in the lower realm. Although the cultivators in the lower realm are as weak as ants, they can be used to fill the army's cannon fodder." Hearing this, all the generals suddenly realized. This is indeed a method. When I understand, we will go to the lower world to recruit soldiers. Many god kings spoke one after another. Immediately, many military generals from the Wang family took warships and headed to the lower realm. This is just a microcosm. When the war progressed to a tug of war, the consumption of resources was unprecedented, and the 9,000 god realm became the key to the competition between the major separatist forces. The men and horses of all the major forces are heading towards the lower realm. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 676. As the major forces in the God's domain sent out troops, huge warships soon appeared in the lower star domain. A warship appeared in the 48th star field, with two girls standing on the bow. Both of them are good-looking and graceful. On the warship, a large flag fluttered, and two large characters shone with golden light. Delirium. These two girls come from the holy land of Delirium, one of the separatist forces in the divine realm. Senior Sister Xuanhuan, this should be the 48th star territory. Among the two girls, a petite and cute girl spoke and said, "The ghosts invaded and the lower realm fell. Among the first 1,000 star fields, only the first 48 star fields were preserved." The other girl looked more dignified and calm, with a feeling of iceberg beauty. She nodded and said, "The most elite forces should be in the first 48 star regions. We have to hurry up and gather our strength." She looked at a star in front of her and said, "Xuan, let's land in the star realm ahead." Soon, they descended on the star realm and gave the order. "The divine holy land of Delirium, come to this star realm to recruit disciples." As soon as this order came out, the star world suddenly boiled. The divine realm is the sky to the lower realm. Being able to enter the divine realm is the lifelong wish of countless people in the lower realm. Immediately, the strong men of this star realm came out one after another to compete for a spot. Soon, the Xantai Holy Land took away the strongest 10,000 people in this world. So weak, the strongest one is just a little god. Xuan was a little disappointed. It's nothing. Although their cultivation is weak, many people have decent talents, but they are limited by the environment and lack of resources. Entering the divine realm, they will break through quickly. Xuanhuan spoke calmly. "Huh? No, that's ahead." Suddenly, Xuan pointed forward. "I saw a fleet approaching their fleet." "Lin." Xuanhuan frowned. "Saint, do we want to fight or leave?" Behind them, a divine king spoke. Xuanhuan shook her head and said, "There's no time to go." The warship headed by the Lin family was too fast. Soon it was approaching. "Haha, she is indeed the saint of Delirium." On the Lin family's warship, there was a young man. He was dressed in brocade clothes and his face was full of enthusiasm. He said, "When I saw the flag of the holy land of Delirium from a distance, I sensed the girl's beauty." He smiled and said, "In the Xiaolin family, Lin Jiangxi is here to take care of the cultivators from the lower realm. Saint Qian, can you come aboard and have a chat?" Xuanhuan said calmly. "Thank you Mr. Lin for your kindness. We still have things to attend to, so we won't bother you anymore." She said to the god behind her. "Mingting, turn around." The god nodded and immediately waved his hand. "The warships from the Delirium Holy Land are about to leave." "Wait." The Lin family's warship blocked them again. Lin Jiangxi smiled and said, "Why should the Holy Maiden of Delirium reject others thousands of miles away? Maybe in the near future, the Lin family and the Holy Land of Delirium will be on the same front. You and I are close, so why not?" There was a hint of greed in his eyes. "Lin, please keep your mouth clean." Behind Xuanhuan, the Divine Lord Mingting spoke coldly, and a burst of qi was released, approaching Lin Jiangxi. However, on the Lin family side, an old man stepped forward and unleashed the pressure of the God King. Mingting's expression suddenly changed. The other party is actually protected by the God King. They just came to the lower realm to recruit soldiers. The Holy Land of Delirium only sent out the highest level God Lords. Facing the God King, he was immediately at a disadvantage. "Oh, why are you like this?" Lin Jiangxi smiled and said, "Saint Xuanhuan and I have a great destiny, and we should become good friends." Besides Xuanhuan, Xuan said angrily, "Whoever wants to be friends with you, stay away from my senior sister." Hearing this, Lin Jiangxi looked at Baixuan, another light flashed in his eyes, and said, "The girl should be another proud daughter of heaven in the holy land of delirium, Miss Baixuan. Nice to meet you." From the beginning to the end, Zhan Xian remained calm and calm. She glanced at Lin Jiangxi and the old god king behind him, and said, "The Lin family and the Wang family are fighting fiercely, right? Do you want us to join the holy land of delirium and participate in the war between your two families?" The indifferent words were full of warning. If the Lin family dares to act recklessly, the holy land of delirium will stand with the Wang family and deal with the Lin family. Lin Jiangxi couldn't help but shuddered when he heard this. He was still a little afraid of this. "The saint is serious, I just want to make friends," he spoke. "Not interested in." Zhenxian said. "Mingting, let's go." Their warships moved on. "Sir, are we still blocking him?" On the Lin family's warship, a divine king asked. Lin Jiangxi said coldly, "Don't block, but keep up." Shortly after, "Senior sister, that nasty guy is still behind us." Bai Xian spoke in boredom. Hearing this, Zhen Xian suddenly said, "Turn around, let's go to the 49th star field." Hearing this, Baixuan said, "Sister, the 49th star region should have been invaded by ghosts. They were all destroyed long ago. There is no one." Zhenxian said, "It is precisely because there is no one that we can get rid of the Lin family. After all, the Lin family is anxious about the war and cannot waste time following us to the Death Star territory." Hearing this, Baixuan suddenly realized. They immediately headed towards the 49th star region. "Sir, they went to the 49th star region. When the ghosts invaded, only the first 48 star fields had not been invaded. That area should have become the Death Star field long ago. There is no one left there. Why don't we go there?" On the Lin family warship, the old god king spoke. But Lin Jiangxi shook his head and said, "No. Go." His eyes were full of coldness and he said, "If I can capture the saint of Delirium Holy Land can only form an alliance with my Lin family. This is more important than harvesting some ants from the lower realm." The two fleets immediately headed towards the 49th star field, one behind the other. Not long after, the warship of the Delirium Holy Land crossed the dead cosmic sea between the star fields and appeared in the 49th star field, the first sub-star field. "There is really nothing in this star field. Isn't this a bit too desolate? Even if it turns into a dead star field, there should still be empty worlds left. Why, not even a world left? It's so miserable. Even the star realm has been wiped out by ghosts." Everyone was confused. "Senior sister, those nasty warships are here again." Baixuan spoke, very annoyed. Zhenxian said calmly, "Keep going." Immediately, their warships continuously crossed many sub-star fields. Suddenly, in the sub-star field ahead, brilliant starlight came from afar. "Huh? Is there a star realm ahead?" At a glance, the star realm is brilliant, and it clearly seems to contain a majestic vitality. Not the Death Star. Is there any living being who survived the catastrophe of ghosts and monsters? This should be a remnant place. Everyone spoke. The fleet kept getting closer, and finally entered the 8th sub-star field. "No. This world is so extraordinary. What is that?" Suddenly, Mingting was shocked and pointed forward. "I saw countless stars gathered together according to a certain pattern, forming a majestic galaxy. In the center of the galaxy, there was a star wheel. In the center of the star wheel is a star realm as big as a full moon. On top of that star realm, there seemed to be red, orange, yellow, green, blue, all kinds of rays of light shining." "Blue, is that a blue source eternal realm? How is this possible?" Baixuan stared straight at the Hengja. "Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. As long as you reach the green source eternal realm, the eternal realm will enter the divine realm and become part of the divine realm. And even in the divine realm, there are already very few caves and blessed lands formed by Qingyuan Hengzhi. Blue origin is only found in some very rare treasures in the God's domain. Now, the lower realm actually appears. This place is absolutely extraordinary. I'm afraid it's enough to be considered a continent in the divine domain. Mingting spoke solemnly. Walk. Deli Xian's beautiful eyes were filled with solemnity as she said. This eternal world must be led to our holy land of delirium. If you get a piece of blue source eternal realm, the foundation of the delirium holy land will be improved to a higher level. At the same time, behind their warship, the Lin family's fleet also arrived. Lanyuan Hengzhi. How could a constant world of this level be born in this star field? Impossible. Everyone in the Lin family was very surprised. Young master, we must win this realm. It can greatly enhance the strength of our clan. A divine king fervently suggested. Lin Jiangxi also nodded and said. I didn't expect to come here with Deli Xian and others, and gain something like this. Let's go. In this eternal world, we can't let Deli Ming Holy Land get there first. Must take control. The warships of the two families are chasing each other, and now they are competing. Because this blue origin eternal realm is really too important. In the end, both warships landed on the Great Ruins realm. All ants in this world, please listen to your orders. I am a member of the Lin family in the divine realm. All those who are wandering gods and above should come and worship quickly, otherwise, you will die. In the Lin family, a divine king shouted loudly, and his voice spread throughout the Great Ruins. Good night. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xin. Chapter 677. All ants in this world, please listen to your orders. I am a member of the Lin family in the divine realm. All those who are wandering gods and above should come and worship quickly, otherwise, you will die. The Lin family's orders spread throughout the Great Ruins. The divine realm of Delirium Holy Land is here to accept disciples. Anyone who is a wandering god or above can come and sign up. The people in the Delirium Holy Land also spoke. Suddenly, many cultivating forces in the Great Ruins realm were all alarmed. A visitor from God's realm. Admission to the door? In the past, this would have been a rare opportunity. This is a rare thing. When the ghosts invaded, the beacon fires were about to spread across the major star regions, but no one was sent from the divine realm. But now they are here. Many forces are talking about it. And at this moment, Zhongzhou Yun family. The head of the Yun family, Yun Yinchan, was practicing Taoism in seclusion. When he heard the news, he opened his eyes in seclusion, and an astonishing light seemed to flash through his eyes. God's domain, Lin family. He walked out of the retreat with a surprisingly gloomy look on his face. What's wrong? Chen'er, is this clan related to your past injury in the lower realm? At the door of the Yun family's house, Yun Qianshan was pulling 4 big dogs. At this moment, he felt the fluctuation of Yun Yinchan's aura, and brought several big dogs to Yun Yinchan to ask questions. He has always had doubts about Yun Yinchan's injury in the past. 20 years ago, his son Yunchan returned from the god realm. His origin was severely damaged, his cultivation level declined, and he almost fell into a certain death state. At the same time, he changed his name to Yun Yinchan, kept his name anonymous, and never mentioned anything about the affairs of the divine realm. Yun Yinchan has always been depressed. Until Yun 11 disappeared and returned, until she met Senior Li. Yun Yinchan's life has regained some brilliance. At this moment, Yun Yinchan nodded and said, "Dad, you once asked me who hurt me in the past." He said word by word, "It is this clan." Hearing this, Yun Qianshan immediately became angry and said, "I see, if the Lin family in this divine realm dares to hurt my son, they are seriously seeking death. I will bring the dogs over and bite them to death." He held the dog's leash. At the same time, the big dogs started barking, as if they were waiting. Yun Yinchan shook his head and said, "Dad, you don't need to move yet. The Lin family in the divine realm, the holy land of delirium, are all powerful venerable level forces and should not be underestimated. They all appeared in the great ruins realm, maybe something happened in the god's domain. I'll go take a look first." Yun Qianshan nodded and said, "Good. The Lin family and the fleet of the Delirium Holy Land are located at the junction of Zhongzhou and the Southern Territory. The terrain here is open and one can see the mountains of the Southern Territory and the vastness of the Zhongzhou Plain. Master Qi, God King, this realm was just an ordinary star realm half a year ago. However, within half a year, the star wheel was formed, and the origin of heaven continued to evolve. It only took half a year to evolve from the Baiwen Eternal Realm to the Blue Origin Eternal Realm." On the Lin family warship, a divine king spoke. His name was Lin Xuanhuan. Just now, he used his methods to randomly arrest a young cultivator and found out many things about the Great Ruins realm. This can be called terrifying. Lin Xuanhuan had a solemn look on his face. Others were quite surprised when they heard this. An ordinary star realm can actually reach the Lanyuan Hengzhi in half a year? This, a fantasy. A small star realm can actually achieve such a leap. There must be big secrets and great opportunities in this star realm. The God King of the Lin family spoke solemnly. "No matter what secrets or opportunities, they all belong to us." Lin Jiangxi sneered and said, "How strong are the cultivators in this world?" Lin Xuanhuang said immediately, "To the south is the southern region of this world. It is said that there is a very powerful wood spirit dynasty. And over there in Zhongzhou, it is said that there is a Yun family." Lin Jiangxi immediately said, "Yun family?" His face was cold and he said, "Just because of this surname, he deserves to be killed and this entire clan should be wiped out." Soon, many forces from the Great Ruins realm arrived one after another. Huh? There is actually a powerful person at the Master God level sitting in charge. There are actually 3 gods in one section, but this world is underestimated. Among the sects that came, there were quite a few strong ones. In the past, the upper limit of the Great Ruins realm was the Wandering God. Nowadays, the gods are very common. Some larger sects and sect leader level figures can already reach the realm of the main god. This surprised both the Lin family and the Delirium Holy Land. Very good, very good. These people can all go to God's realm and serve as the pawns of our clan. Lin Jiangxi was quite happy. On the other side, on the warship in the Holy Land of Delirium. This world is extraordinary, almost comparable to some of the continents in God's domain. Mingting spoke solemnly. "We must take over this realm. The best is to introduce the star realm into the Holy Land." Hearing this, Zhen Xian was thinking. Being able to transform into Lanyuan Hengzhi in half a year. Zhen Xian slowly opened her mouth and said, "The water in this world is very deep. Don't be careless. Everyone, don't be hostile. Let's check the situation first." She was thoughtful and noticed something was wrong. "You guys, come here and bow to the God King and young master of our clan, and consider our clan as the master, then you can enter the divine realm." On the Lin family warship, a divine king pointed at the major forces in the Great Ruins realm that were coming. However, these cultivators just looked at them indifferently. Not a bird at all. "I'm sorry, our world has its own master, and we will not let anyone else be our master." An old cultivator spoke calmly. Hearing this, everyone on the Lin family's warship was a little surprised. Is there a master in this world? Haha, do you have a master? Lin Jiangxi was very disdainful and sneered. Is your so-called master a divine master or a divine king? It is indeed strong enough for you creatures in the lower realm, but do you know that it is nothing in front of the divine realm? Let your so-called master get out. He scolded directly. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a wave of fluctuation suddenly came from above the sky. A woman appeared at some point and struck towards him with a palm strike. Dare you? Next to Lin Jiangxi, Lin Xuanhuan shouted angrily. Everyone in the Lin family has already seen that the person coming is a powerful man at the level of a god. Lin Xuanhuan looked at the woman approaching from the sky and punched out. The woman's slender hand fell with a palm. Boom! The divine energy collided, and in an instant, the Lin family's warships shook. Lin Xuanhuang's face turned pale and he was directly knocked away. Puff! Lin Xuanhuang fell off the warship and hit the ground, vomiting blood. Seeing this, the Lin family, the Delirium Holy Land, etc., were all shocked. Everyone looked over at the same time. I saw the girl falling faintly from the sky. Welcome the Queen! Welcome the Queen! People from many forces in the Great Ruins realm were shouting in unison at this moment. This woman is clearly Mu Wanqing, the Empress of the Mu Ling dynasty. After learning that someone was coming from the divine realm, it also came to see what happened. Queen! Lin Jiangxi looked at Mu Wanqing, with a flash of eagerness in his eyes, and said. It seems that you are the so-called Lord of the Great Ruins realm. Very good, you are very talented. Are you willing to follow me? Upon hearing this, Mu Wanqing looked at the Lin family's warship and said. The Lord of the Great Ruins realm. I am just a servant of the Lord of the Great Ruins realm. You are disrespectful to the Lord of the Great Ruins realm and you should be killed. After she finished speaking lightly, she came out with her iron-blooded tactics again, blasting away at the Lin family warship with a palm. Dare you? Next to Lin Jiangxi, the God King of the Lin family roared angrily, stepped forward, and the God King's energy was overwhelming, suppressing Mu Wanqing's attack. It seems that if you don't eat the toast, you will be fined with wine, and you won't be able to stay. The God King shouted loudly and suddenly blasted out a palm. The space trembled and the earth shook violently. The power of the God King was undoubtedly displayed. Mu Wanqing showed no fear and struck with a palm strike. She immediately retreated 1,000 meters and her face turned pale. She was only in the realm of the God King, so it was still difficult to fight against the God King. If you can resist my blow, you won't die. If I don't kill you today, you will be in trouble tomorrow. The God King of the Lin family shouted loudly and continued to advance, with torrents of divine power falling down like waves. However, the next moment, 3,000 avenues suddenly roared, coming like fire, turning all the principles of the Lin family God King into nothingness. In the sky, a middle-aged man has appeared. He was dressed in a white robe, had a rather graceful temperament, and his expression was indifferent and calm. Seeing this person, the God King of the Lin family was suddenly shocked and said. No, you are. The middle-aged man in white robe looked at everyone in the Lin family and said word by word. Yun family, Yun Chen. There is one more chapter to be written. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xin. Chapter 678. Yun family, Yun Chen. As soon as these 4 words came out, everyone in the Lin family was shocked. Yun Chen, could he be the same Yun Chen who once fell in love with the saint? No, that Yun Chen is already dead. This person is very strong and can actually defeat the God King's attack. Everyone in the Lin family was talking a lot. On the other side, on the warship of the Holy Land of Delirium, Zhenxian and others were also very dignified. You little beast, it's really you. The god king of the Lin family was filled with anger. Yun Chen looked at the god king of the Lin family calmly and said, "Lin Wulu, right? I still remember you. In the past, you participated in the siege and killing of me and Xuanhuan. Today, I will kill you." His words were cold. Hearing this, everyone in the Lin family was in an uproar. It's really him. That little beast who delayed the saint of our clan is not dead. Back then, the clan put him into the lower realm, but I didn't expect that he survived. Lin Jiangxi even said coldly, "Oh, it's you. If it weren't for you, our clan would have already married the imperial clan, the one who deserves to be killed. Today, I, Lin Jiangxi, will not only kill you, but also destroy your entire clan. God King, take action and destroy him." Immediately, Lin Wulu, the God King of the Lin family, stepped forward step by step and stared at Yun Chen. "I was able to survive, and my cultivation level actually broke through the level of God King, and I am about to reach the level of God King. If I hadn't discovered it today, you little beast would have become a serious problem for our clan in a short time." His old eyes boiled with murderous intent and he said, "I will kill you." He took action. The terrifying fluctuations of the God King are like the waves of the sea, attacking and killing. Yun Chen took one step forward, and the 3,000 avenues resonated. He smelted 3,000 Dao, and at this moment he was supremely sacred, facing the God King directly. The two sides fought. "Your Majesty, do you want to help?" Beside Mu Wanking, Mu Zhenkong asked. Mu Wanking shook her head and said, "Unnecessary. Senior Yun is seeking revenge. It would be bad for us to interfere. What's more, in front of the current Yun family, what does a little God King mean?" She knew that the old man of the Yun family now had several big dogs. The old man of the Yun family didn't come, which means it's not time yet. At this moment, the war was heating up. The God King takes action, and Yun Yinshan is also close to the God King. This kind of terrifying fluctuation is enough to destroy a galaxy. However, today's Great Ruins realm has evolved into a blue origin, and the rules between heaven and earth have reached a very terrifying level, which is enough to withstand a war of this level. The God King of the Lin family took action with all his strength, and his power was overwhelming. Although Yun Chen's realm is not as good as him, he has evolved through the 3,000 avenues and is undefeated despite the odds. Yun Chen, it's so scary. He is worthy of being the genius of the divine realm in the past. My clan, did we miss something? Everyone in the Lin family was a little shocked. With the realm of the divine king, defeat the divine king? This is simply unthinkable. Lin Jiangxi looked at the battlefield with an extremely gloomy expression. He quietly took out a jade talisman and crushed it. He's calling for someone. Soon. Ah! A shrill scream sounded. The battle ended suddenly. Yun Chen, a genius of a generation, was covered in blood and scarred. But at his feet, Lin Wulu, the God King of the Lin family, was seriously injured and dying, unable to struggle. Lin Wulu, lost. Everyone looked at the scene in shock. The God King was actually defeated. How is this possible? Yunchen is so strong. The King of Gods fought against the King of Gods and won. This is unheard of in the divine realm. Everyone was shocked. Lin Jiangxi's pupils even shrank. He didn't expect Yun Chen to be so fierce. Under the attention of everyone, Yun Chen stepped on the Lin family's God King. His grace was unparalleled. The Lin family, who else is there? He swept the Lin family worship coldly. Everyone in the Lin family felt a deep sense of coldness, and they were afraid to speak out. Senior Yun, Lin Jiangxi has just contacted the Lin family of God's domain. At this time, on the worship of the Holy Land of Delirium, the Saint of Delirium suddenly spoke and said, "You, be careful." Hearing this, Lin Jiangxi of the Lin family suddenly turned back with anger in his eyes and said, "Deli Xian, what do you mean?" However, Zhen Xian just remained indifferent and refused to answer. In fact, even Mingting and Bai Xuan were a little confused. By doing this, wouldn't Zhen Xian be on the opposite side of the Lin family? Is it worth it for Yun Chen? When Yun Chen heard this, he smiled and said, "I, Yun Chen, will accept your favor." He looked at Lin Jiangxi and said, "I hope the person you are calling is stronger." Lin Jiangxi felt a chill in his heart when he heard this. Yun Chen is so unscrupulous. He had a bad feeling. Was he in trouble? Soon. Boom. In the 49th star field, there seems to be a terrifying existence, tearing apart a corner of space from the sky. In that space passage, there are many figures. Landed directly on the Great Ruins realm. What appeared were 10 God Kings. One of the leaders is the Great God King. "Godless King, hurry up, kill this beast quickly." Lin Jiangxi shouted towards the Great God King. The Great God King Lin Wuming glanced at this world, and then his eyes fell on Yun Chen indifferently. "Yun Chen, I haven't seen him for many years." He was aloof and said, "I destroyed your origin in the past, but I didn't expect that you would have some unexpected encounters and almost rise. Let Wu Lu go, kneel down and plead guilty, and I will give you a whole corpse." The words are cold. And when Yun Chen looked at Lin Wuming, a flash of intense hatred flashed in his eyes. "Lin Wuming, you are Xuanhuan's biological uncle, however, it was you who hurt Xuanhuan back then." Lin Wuming was very indifferent and said, "Lin Xuanhuan willingly lowers herself and commits to you for the rest of her life, which is a shame to our family. Now, she is locked up in the ancestral hall, trampled by thousands of people from the Lin family, and suffers from the pain of an iron chain piercing her heart, but she is stubborn and refuses to repent to this day. Today, I will kill you to make her give up." Hearing this, Yun Chen's eyes were filled with jealousy. Locked under the ancestral temple, being trampled by thousands of people, suffering from the iron chain piercing the heart. There was raging anger in his eyes. "You, all deserve to die." He cut off Lin Wulu's head with one palm, threw it towards the 10 God Kings, and killed him. He went crazy knowing that his lover was suffering so much. "Kill him." Lin Wuming gave the order. Immediately, the 2 God Kings attacked and killed Yun Chen. Yun Chen Xuanhuan went crazy. Facing the 2 God Kings, he still remained invincible. The 3rd God King joins the battle group. The 4th place. The 4 great God Kings suppressed Yun Chen. Yun Chen fought a bloody battle. His eyes were red, and the 3,000 origin avenues were almost fused into one under this extreme battle. Almost like a God King. "This kid, is he about to break through?" The Lin family God Kings all exclaimed. Lin Wuming's eyes turned cold. This child must not be kept. He had a thought in his mind and said, "Let's attack together and kill it." Immediately, he took action with the remaining 5 God Kings. The power of the 10 God Kings is enough to destroy the world. This has exceeded Yun Chen's limit. His fire of life is burning to the limit, and he can enter the realm of the God King under the siege of the 4 God Kings. However, the 10 great God Kings. But it will directly suppress and extinguish the fire of his life. "Yun Chen, you are dead. The Yun family should be destroyed. This time, he will definitely die." Everyone in the Lin family spoke one after another. Lin Jiangxi also breathed a sigh of relief. The pressure that Yun Chen brought to him was too great. "Hey, did I guess wrong just now?" Zhan Xian couldn't help but sigh. She originally thought that there was some great person behind Yun Chen. Now it seems that he will be killed after all. The attack of the 10 God Kings is about to wipe out Yun Chen. However, right now, in the southern region, there is a divine vine that reaches the sky, piercing the sky and falling directly into the field. The sky-reaching divine vine emits terrifying God King level fluctuations, destroying everything. Puff puff. Several God Kings were actually unable to resist, and their hearts were directly pierced. Great God King. The great God King Lin Wuoming was furious and said, "An old Tang dares to go against my Lin family." He suddenly took out a magic weapon. That's a sword, a venerable sword. He slashed at Lao Teng with his sword. Although Lao Teng is fierce, he may still be in danger when facing a venerable level sword. But somewhere, suddenly there was a dog barking. The venerable level battle sword in Lin Wuoming's hand shattered in response. What? Lin Wuoming was horrified. He seemed to sense some kind of terrifying existence that was targeting him, and his energy was in chaos. And at this moment, Yun Chen rose into the sky against the trend. He has succeeded in breaking through. A fierce punch hit Lin Wuoming's chest. Lin Wuoming flew out and smashed a warship of the Lin family. Lin Wuoming fell into the earth, making a big pit in the earth. At this moment, the whole place was dead silent. Everyone was shocked. As for Yunchen, his demeanor was even more impressive at the moment. He looked at Lin Jiangxi on the warship and said, "Call someone, keep calling someone." But Lin Jiangxi was dumbfounded. "Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert." Author, Gui Xin. Chapter 679. In the blink of an eye, all the 10 divine kings of the Lin family were wiped out. Even Lin Wuoming, the holding great God King, is dead. This left everyone stunned. Lin Jiangxi felt like he was trembling all over at this moment. Now, he finally realized that something was wrong, something was really wrong with this great ruins realm. That old vine that appeared from the southern territory is actually at the level of a great God King. Moreover, the inexplicable barking of a dog actually caused Lin Wuoming, who was the great God King and was holding the venerable sword, to be instantly defeated. What does that mean? In this world, there are definitely God Kings and even stronger beings. It is no longer weaker than some powerful continents in God's domain. This world is not simple, it really is not simple. In the holy land of delirium, Mingting couldn't help but speak, his face extremely solemn. He actually has the power of a revered person. I'm careless. A lower realm actually has such high combat power. However, at this moment, Zhen Xian shook her head and said, "No. The water in this world is very deep. At the venerable level, I'm afraid it's still just the surface of the water and has not touched the bottom." Her beautiful eyes became more and more determined, and she said directly, "Send an order to contact the Holy Land, tell my master what is going on here, and ask him to invite the Holy Lord to come down to the next world." Hearing this, Mingting was immediately shocked. The master of Saint Delirium is a venerable one. Inviting His Majesty to move to the lower realm is already amazing, but also asking the Holy Lord to come? Holy girl, to take over this world, you only need to send 2 or 3 venerables. Why bother the Holy Lord? He felt that it was making a mountain out of a molehill. However, Zhen Xian gave him a cold look and said, "Who said you want to take over this world? Stop your thoughts." She turned her head and looked at Yun Chen and others, her beautiful eyes were extremely solemn, and said, "Let the Holy Lord go down to the next world, to invite someone. Only if the Holy Lord comes in person and treats each other with courtesy, maybe it will be possible to invite the beings in this world to join us in the holy land of delirium," she murmured. Hearing this, Mingting was even more stunned, his eyes filled with disbelief. Is this, the saint not crazy? Asking the Holy Lord to come down from God's realm in person was actually to invite this little being from the lower world to come out. Is it necessary? At this moment, Yun Chen looked at Lin Jiangxi coldly and said, "Call someone, keep calling someone." Feeling Yun Chen's gaze, Lin Jiangxi's heart was completely chilled. However, he then gritted his teeth and said, "Okay, just wait for me, just wait for me." At this point, it's hard to get off the tiger. He didn't believe that this small lower realm could compete with the Lin family. He once again sent a message to the clan. Now, Yuaniang's Hu, Lin family. In the ancestral palace. I didn't expect that this little beast, Yunchen, is still alive. An old man whose body was covered with stone skin had a cold look on his face. He is surprisingly Lin Lanchen. Now, he has completely become a venerable person and is about to enter the realm of Yati. Next to him was Lin Lanfan, the head of the Lin family. Lin Lanfan also cultivated the origin of grey mist, and his aura was powerful. At this moment, he said lightly, "I heard from Sir that Yun Chen was actually able to kill the God King. Fortunately, we found him, otherwise he would really cause some trouble to our clan in a few years. I have asked Wu Ming to take 9 God Kings down to the lower realm. This sun can be completely destroyed. In addition, the Blue Origin Eternal Realm will also be brought back and become part of the family." Lin Lanchen nodded and said, "Bring his head back and let that bitch Lin Xuanhuan take a good look at it." There was indifference written all over his face. Huh? Sir has returned from the summons. The matter should have been resolved. Lin Lanfan sensed this and immediately took out the jade ju, but then, his expression changed. "What's wrong?" Lin Lanchen asked. Lin Wuming and the other 10 God Kings, were all destroyed. He spoke in shock. Hearing this, Lin Lanchen was also surprised and said, "How is it possible? It's just a Yunchen, but he's only at the level of a god." Lin Lanfan said, "In the Great Ruins realm, there are other powerful people hiding." Hearing this, Lin Lanchen stood up directly and said angrily, "Who dares to go against my Lin family? Kill him." Lin Lanfan crushed Yaju into pieces, stood up and said, "I'll go down to the next level myself." Lin Lanchen shook his head and said, "No. Ancestor Banyang is already attacking the Imperial realm. Lanchen and other venerables are also in retreat. The clan needs someone to take charge of important matters. I go." At the same time, Delirium in Taizhu. The Holy Land of Delirium. The mountains are continuous and the sacred atmosphere is shrouded, like a fairyland. At this moment, in a certain mountain, an old man walked out of the retreat. He turned into a stream of light and went directly to the ancestral hall in the Holy Land. "Hao Ming asks to see the Holy Lord." He spoke. In the main hall, a faint voice sounded, saying, "Come in." The old man immediately stepped inside. On top of the main hall, a rather burly middle-aged man sat upright, but his skin was as if it had turned into stone. The smell is amazing. This person is clearly the Holy Lord of the Delirium Holy Land, Minglan. The old man Hao Ming was slightly shocked, but he still saluted and said, "Reporting to the Holy Lord, my disciple Zhen Xian just sent word that a Blue Origin Eternal Realm was found in the lower realm. Furthermore, in the Blue Source Eternal Realm, there are venerable level, or even stronger beings living in seclusion. In the name of Zhen Xian, I invite the Holy Lord to come down to the realm and respectfully invite the strong men in that realm to join the Holy Land." Hearing this, the middle-aged man frowned slightly, his scalp condensed together, full of doubts, and said, "Elder Hao wants me to go to the lower world and invite people." Hao Ming said, "Exactly, if a venerable person can join the Holy Land, it will be a great benefit to the Holy Land." The middle-aged man said coldly, "Your Majesty. Also worthy." He spoke directly with disdain and said, "Half a year ago, the venerable level came, the Holy Land naturally welcomed him. Now, things have changed. Venerable, what else is it? Are you right?" Venerable Hao Ming. With a hint of coldness in his eyes, he stared at Venerable Hao Ming with a hint. Half a year ago, even though he was the Holy Lord of the Holy Land, he was just a god king. However, now he has cultivated the origin of grey mist and became a sage. But Venerable Haoming rejected the origin of the grey mist and stood still, unable to make any progress. Previously, Haoming had acted like a venerable person, and even he Minglan had to respect all the supreme elders. Zhenxian, the disciple of Venerable Haoming, is the most talented person in the clan. He once surpassed his granddaughter to become the saint of the Holy Land. But now, as the Holy Lord, he has become a venerable, and with the source of the grey fog around him, he is stronger than Haoming. His granddaughter is also gradually absorbing the origin of the grey mist. He has long wanted to abolish Zhenxian and let his granddaughter take over. Therefore, Zhenxian was sent to the lower realm this time. After all, going to the lower world is a dirty job, so how could a saint be allowed to do it? He is humiliating Zhenxian. At this moment, Zhenxian actually tried to ask him to go to the lower world to invite someone? Joke. When Haoming heard this, he was startled. How could he not hear the other party's contempt? After a long silence, he sighed and said, "I understand. I won't disturb the Holy Master's practice." He turned around and left lonely. Minglan looked at his back with a hint of cold contempt in her eyes and said, "Haoming, times have changed. Only those who possess the origin of grey mist have the future. If you are stubborn, you will only lead to your own death." Venerable Haoming paused and did not look back, but said, "Is the origin of the grey fog the future? Perhaps it is the end of the world, who can say for sure?" He left. Out of the ancestral palace, Haoming returned to his mountain peak, looked back at the vast Holy Land, and sighed deeply. The legends and prophecies left behind by the Calamity era are forgotten by people, and the temptation leading to eternity is like the devil's whisper. If you embark on the path of grey fog, can you still turn back? His old face was full of worry. Then, he raised his hand and opened the void channel. Lanyuan Hengja has appeared in the lower realm. No matter what, I have to go and take a look. He set out on his own. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xian. Chapter 680. The Great Ruins Realm. Yun Chen, if you have the ability, just wait for the masters of our clan to come. Lin Jiangxi's lips were dry. He was extremely scared. He was deeply afraid that Yun Chen would kill him. But Yun Chen just waited indifferently. Soon, an astonishing energy came from above the sky and from the top of the galaxy. At this moment, the entire 49th star territory was trembling. All worlds feel it, as if a supreme existence that cannot be desecrated has arrived. The endless laws of the Great Avenue condensed into a bridge, opening up the passages of many worlds and directly reaching the Great Ruins realm. It seems that from the Supreme World, there is an invincible strong man coming. All the creatures in the Great Ruins realm feel it. What kind of chi machine is this? Beyond the God King, it's too scary. Could it be the legendary Venerable? Has His Holiness descended to the next world? Countless people were extremely dignified. At the junction of the Southern Territory and Zhongzhou, Yun Chen and others who were waiting also instantly looked sideways, looking in the direction from which the chi machine was coming. I saw that the bridge where the laws of the Great Avenue condensed seemed to connect another vast world. From the bridge, there was an old man in grey robes, walking slowly. Behind him, there were 4 middle-aged god kings. They walked out from the avenue bridge and appeared directly on the field. Ruiaoruao's aura, with a strange smell, made everyone in the place change their expressions. The leader of the group was Lin Lanshan, the venerable member of the Lin family. The 4 divine kings he brought are also the real elites of the Lin family. No. These people, look like weird creatures. Mu Wanqing suddenly looked stern. She has seen grey mist creatures before, so she is very familiar with this kind of atmosphere. She glanced directly at Mu Rantian beside her. Mu Rantian understood immediately and quietly retreated. If you encounter a strange grey fog, you should report it to the small mountain village. Because, the strange grey fog, seems to involve a deep secret. The Lin family, an existence of this level has actually come. Zhen Xian's eyes were a little solemn. Do the hidden people in this world have the strength to compete with Lord Grey Mist? A flash of hesitation flashed through her heart. The Grey Mist Venerable, who cultivates the Grey Mist origin, is completely different from the ordinary Venerable. In fact, even the Ya Emperor level, may not be the opponent of Lord Grey Mist. Ancestor, you are here, that's great, please take action and kill Yunchen. Lin Jiangxi was overjoyed when he saw this. He didn't expect that Lin Lanchen would actually come in person. This time, it's absolutely stable. Lin Lanchen, on the other hand, glanced at this world indifferently. Haha, naturally, without relying on external forces, the Blue Origin constant realm actually evolved, it's kind of interesting. Then, his eyes fell on Yun Chen. The ants of the past have now become slightly larger caterpillars, but, so what? He was very indifferent and said with a natural sense of superiority. Tell me, how did you restore your origin, and what are the opportunities in this world? When Yun Chen heard this, he just said coldly. Are you worthy of coveting this world? Lin Lanchen smiled and said. Covet? You are wrong. As far as I am concerned, everything in the world that I want is mine. Why covet it? Yun Chen looked angry and said. Arrogant. Mu Wanqing also stepped forward and said coldly. No one can act recklessly in this great ruin world. Otherwise, die. Hearing this, Lin Lanchen burst into laughter. Haha, you two, a little god king, a little god lord, dare to speak so brazenly. He said, I heard that you, as a god king, killed the god king of my clan. Do you feel that you are invincible? Now, I will let you know, what is true invincibility. He waved his hand and said. Soulless, you go. Behind him, God King Lin Wuhan walked out immediately. He looked at Yun Chen, sneered, and then punched him hard. On his fist, there were faint wisps of grey mist. He is the God King who cultivates the origin of grey mist. Grey Mist God King. Hey, no matter how talented this person is, it will be of no use in front of the Grey Mist God King. On the warship of Delirium Holy Land, Mingting sighed. Everyone in the divine realm now knows that the source of grey mist is the strongest source in the world. Those who cultivate the origin of grey mist are invincible at the same level. Many of the original veteran god kings, even the great god kings, were like chickens and tiledogs in front of the grey fog god king, not worth mentioning. Lin Wuhan himself had slaughtered more than a dozen ordinary god kings. Zhen Xian also looked at it solemnly. Lin Wuhan's fist, stained with the aura of grey mist, has fallen. However, Yun Chen just greeted him with a palm. Boom! At this moment, as if he sensed the grey mist, a wisp of white air appeared on his palm. There was an explosion in the air, a blow from both sides, and the outcome was undecided. Suddenly they were fighting together. Hey, that's not right. What is the white mist on this person's body? It can actually resist the aura of grey mist. Several grey mist god kings from the Lin family were all shocked. Before, when they faced ordinary god kings, they were slaughtered without any suspense. It's because the origin of grey fog can corrode everything in the world. Ordinary god kings will die if touched. But at this moment, Yun Chen seemed not to be affected at all. I'm going to help, capture him, dissect his origin, and investigate. Another god king spoke and killed Yun Chen. Using the more to bully the less, is this the skill of the god king of the divine realm? At this moment, Mu Wanking also stepped forward to block the god king. There was also a strange white mist flashing between her palms at this moment. A battle broke out in the field, and the Tao roared. Yunchen Sanqiandao pressed down on Lin Wuhan and beat him. Soon, Lin Wuhan spit out light gray blood. What, Wuhan can't beat him? Monster, really a monster. The remaining two god kings couldn't sit still anymore, and they rushed over. Yun Chen used 1 against 3, and Mu Wanking used the Divine Lord to block the Grey Mist Divine King. The battle was extremely fierce. Soon. No, this witch, she is actually going to break through. The expression of the Grey Mist God King who fought with Mu Wanking changed drastically. He noticed the changes in Mu Wanking. Old ancestor, Yun Chen was like this before, and he gained enlightenment through battle. Lin Jiangxi was anxious and reminded him hurriedly. As for Lin Lanchen, a cold look flashed across his eyes at this moment. He couldn't see through the origins of Yun Chen and Mu Wanking. But, it's not weaker than Grey Mist. It does surprise me, but everything ends here. He raised his hand. In an instant, grey fog rolled in, seeming to overwhelm the entire world. The terrifying coercion of the venerable level was released in full force. He is about to take action. Lin Lanchen, stop. But at this moment, in the void, a loud shout came. An old man came across the void at some point. Sensing the arrival, Lin Lanchen slowed down his movements and looked over. It turns out to be Venerable Haoming from the Delirium Holy Land. He said calmly. Your Excellency, why are you here? The old man walking in the void was Haoming. At this moment, his face was full of anger and he said. Linlan Mountain, grey fog is taboo and the source of disaster. How can you use grey mist to kill the living beings in the world? Hearing this, Lin Lanchen couldn't help but smile and said. So, Venerable Haoming is here to be a saint and educate me. There was a flash of disdain in his eyes and he said. If you had cultivated the origin of grey mist, maybe I would give you 3 points of thin noodles, but unfortunately, you are no longer worthy. Venerable Haoming's eyes were beating with anger and he said. The grey mist road, is an evil road. It doesn't matter if you are running rampant in the God's realm. Do you have to be so vicious in the lower realm? Lin Lanchen said. Old guy, you are really annoying. After saying that, he snapped his fingers. A grey mist turned into a sword and stabbed at Venerable Haoming. When Venerable Haoming saw this, he was extremely angry. He tried his best to unleash his might. His domain of lordship is released. However, in front of the grey mist sword, his venerable domain was cut into pieces like a piece of paper. Venerable Haoming flew out directly. Puff. His body staggered and his face turned pale. Master. On the battleship of the Delhi Ming Holy Land, Delhi Xian hurriedly flew out and arrived in front of the Venerable Haoming. There is already a bloody hole in Venerable Haoming's chest. A trace of grey mist seems to be lingering, and the wound cannot be healed. Zhen Xian hurriedly used various elixirs, but, none of them could heal the wound. Haha, in less than 3 days, you will bleed to death. Lin Lanchen smiled easily and said. The former Venerable Haoming, the Supreme Elder of the Delirium Holy Land, was so famous that no one in the world would disrespect him. Unfortunately, times have changed, going against the times will lead to a dead end. There was some pride on his face. Back in the day, before the origin of the grey mist appeared in the world, Venerable Haoming was definitely one of the big guys in the divine realm. He also had to be in awe. Nowadays, it is different. When Haoming rejected the origin of the grey mist, he thought he would be left behind by the times. The old boss. He no longer cared about Venerable Haoming, but continued to look at Yun Chen and Mu Wanking. Death is given to you. He raised his hand and dropped it suddenly. Gray fog filled the sky and rolled in, almost destroying the world. The entire Great Ruins world felt an inexplicable panic. However, right now, a series of dog barks came out like crazy. Woof 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 woof. Suddenly, the sky shook, as if a supreme being appeared in the world. Everything is silent. What? The Emperor is endless. Lin Lanchen was immediately shocked. Even though he had cultivated the origin of grey mist, he felt an absolute suppression of his personality at this moment. Breathless, he subconsciously looked in the direction of the barking dogs and saw an old man walking from the air, holding 4 big dogs in his hands. 1 Dalmatian, 3 mutts. Lin Lanchen suddenly looked at the spotted dog, and was horrified. Demon Emperor. He was shocked. Is this the rhythm of the Demon Emperor being a dog? Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 681. Everyone's eyes fell on the old man and the 4 big dogs he was holding. The terrifying pressure suddenly came from one of the Dalmatians. The Dalmatian dog, with its head raised high, looked at Lin Lanchen with cold contempt. Although it was being held as a pet, it still had an aura of dominance, as if it were an arrogant master. Lin Lanchen and others were all shocked at this moment. These dogs are all at the venerable level. How many powerful men of the Tengu clan? No. How could they be held in check by people like guard dogs? The scent of that Dalmatian dog is so strong, could it be? Everyone was talking about it. Lin Lanchen looked at the spotted dog and said, Are you, the Demon Emperor? Demon Emperor. As soon as the statement came out, everyone was even more shocked. Who in the world doesn't know about the Gide Demon Emperor of the Tengu clan? But, hasn't the Demon Emperor already entered the Broken and Lost Land? Once you enter it, you will not be able to come back. Moreover, why would a majestic emperor be led by an old man in the Divine King realm, as if he were someone else's watchdog? This is amazing. Of course I am. Demon Emperor Guling spoke coldly, and the emperor's energy was released. Everyone was even more shocked. Really, the Demon Emperor? What's going on? The mighty Demon Emperor is actually being held by someone. Then what is the identity of the old man? Incredible, am I dazzled? Everyone feels ridiculous and unbelievable. Lin Lanchen even said, No. Impossible, Demon Emperor, how could you treat others like a dog? He couldn't believe it. When the Demon Emperor heard this, he immediately became angry and said, Woof, are you being treated as a dog for others? Do you know how to speak? I am a dog to begin with, woof. A roar. Everyone in the Lin family fell to the ground in an instant. Lin Lanchen's face was extremely ugly, but he was unwilling to accept it. Demon Emperor, the Lin family, don't want to be enemies with you, but this Yun Chen, our Yun family is destined to be killed, this Yun family, our Lin family is destined to be destroyed. He gritted his teeth and spoke. The Emperor is the top existence in the world. Even though the Lin family has obtained the Grey Mist, facing an enemy of this level, he still has no confidence. Unless we wait for our ancestor Lin Banyang to become the Grey Mist God Emperor. At that time, he believed that even if all the God Emperors in the ages jumped out, they would only be suppressed. After all, practitioners of the Grey Mist origin were invincible at the same level. When the Demon Emperor heard this, the hair on his hair suddenly stood up, and there was a hint of fear in the dog's eyes. Damn, are these people idiots? Kill Yunchen? Destroy the Yun family. This is crazy. I have seen people seeking death, but I have never seen anyone seeking death like this. It yelled hurriedly and said, Woof. Being an enemy of the Yun family means that you are at odds with me, Guling. If you dare to be hostile to Lord Yunchen, you will be at odds with me. It is called a loyal one. Hearing this, everyone in the Lin family was shocked again. What's the situation? The demon emperor actually called Yun Chen, Lord Yun Chen? Yun Chen is just a little god king. The Lin family is just a small family. Why can the demon emperor be so respectful and even fearful? Is there something extraordinary behind the Yun family? Demon emperor, do you have to be like this? Our ancestor will soon become the god emperor. When the time comes. He gritted his teeth and said. Can you alone stop my Lin family? Today, it seems that Yunchen has become a trend. We must not let it go anymore. As for the demon emperor, although he was afraid, he was not without confidence. In particular, the ancestor has obtained the origin of grey mist and is attacking the imperial realm. Once successful, he will be the first grey fog god emperor in the world, representing the supreme power. Oh! Then add me. At this time, another powerful voice came indifferently. In the direction of the southern territory, a big furry hand stretched out and tore the sky apart. Immediately afterwards, a monkey with overwhelming arrogance also appeared. Seeing this monkey, everyone present was even more shocked. Especially the people from the god realm, they will definitely know this person. In the past, he fought all over the god realm and claimed to be the demon lord who could be called Ban Emperor. The six-eared macaque clan is the descendant of the clan. Everyone was even more panicked. What's going on? Why is Zhezing Sun here? Wasn't he suppressed by the Vatican under the Five Elements mountain? The Brahma court was destroyed, but he did not die. Could it be that there is any relationship between him and the destruction of the Brahma court? Everyone was surprised and confused. Zhezing Sun, this is definitely a big shot, he can be called Emperor Ban. Now, actually here. Lin Lanchen was even more stunned when he saw it. He couldn't help but glance at this world. Damn, is this a lower realm? How many peerless bosses are hidden in this lower world? The Demon Emperor, Zhezing Sun, are all legendary figures. How could we all gather here? Moreover, they are all standing together with Yunchen? At this moment, he had no idea. Before getting the origin of the grey mist, either of these two people could easily destroy the Lin family. Now, the ancestor has not become the grey mist god emperor, can he stop him? He is very worried. Zhezing Sun, Demon Emperor. In the holy land of delirium, Deli Xian also murmured, with an incredible look in her beautiful eyes, saying. In this world, the water is actually this deep. Venerable Haoming was also shocked at this moment and said. Girl Zhenxian, your judgment is correct. Even today, when the origin of the grey mist appears, an existence of this level is definitely worthy of being invited by the section. Oh, what a pity, what a pity. Venerable Haoming is so sorry. A demon emperor, a giant evildoer in the demon world who can be called the demon emperor. Stand facing the sky at this moment. Everyone in the Lin family is dead silent. Speak well if you have anything to say, you too, we, the Lin family, have no enmity or grudge against you. Lin Lanchen broke into a cold sweat. He can instantly kill the venerable ones of the same level, but the two people in front of him are not at the same level at all. However, Lu Shushi and the Demon Emperor only looked at Yun Chen. Kill? Lu Shushi asked. Seeing this, everyone was shocked again. Even Lu Shushi, such an unruly master of the demon world, wants to consult Yun Chen for his opinion? What is Yun Chen's background? What's the origin? Everyone can't help but speculate. Yun Chen looked at Lin Lanchen with a cold expression on his face and said. Dare to set foot in the great ruins realm and want to destroy this world with grey mist, I, Yun Chen, have a small hatred, but I have a big hatred for disrespecting Senior Li. Kill him. Punish him. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Shushi's big furry hand immediately moved toward the Lin family's fleet, covering it. In an instant, more than a dozen huge warships of the Yun family exploded. Bang bang bang. In front of him, these warships are not even toys. No. Lin Lanchen was horrified when he saw this, and the source of the grey mist exploded. At this moment, the demon emperor also stood up, his figure became huge and terrifying, like a mountain, suppressing the grey mist of Lin Lan mountain with great means. Lin Lanchen's body couldn't bear the pressure and exploded. Ah! He let out a shrill scream. At the same time, the 4 grey mist origin god kings around him also exploded. Seeing this, everyone present was shocked. Is the Lin family's Lord Grey Mist just destroyed? Is this the power of the great emperor? Venerable Haoming was in a daze and said. Although the source of the grey mist is extremely strong, in the face of absolute realm and personality suppression, practitioners cannot withstand it. No, the origin of the grey mist is still there. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. Everyone looked around and saw that where Lin Lanchen and others were, there were still clouds of grey mist rising and falling. And in that grey mist, there seems to be a soul hidden. Lin Lanchen and others are not completely dead. Are their souls wrapped in the source of the grey mist? Venerable Haoming was shocked and murmured. The grey mist cannot be destroyed, not even the emperor. Everyone was instantly surprised.